So, hey squad, this is Rebecca with the second in our series of conversations with coaches. Today, I'm joined by Daisy, and I'm so hyped to have you here. Daisy is the go-to coach for busy women who are looking to overcome yo-yo dieting. We can all say we've been there, and achieve fat loss that really lasts. She has such an amazing passion for mindset that is above and beyond just how you feel about your body. And I'm so grateful to have you here, Daisy. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me on.
Oh, no, you're so welcome. So grateful for you to be here. So I have a couple of questions that I'm just really excited to get your perspective on. And I think that's why these conversations are so powerful. Is I know that it's not just about how you look aesthetically, it's about really how you feel. So let's just break it down to, what does healthy mean to you in your business?
Healthy to me can mean many things, but of course we've got the external health. You know, we all want to look good, we all want to feel good in ourselves and look in the mirror and be happy with what we see, because I know a lot of people aren't. So I do get that that's a big thing for a lot of people, but health is also internal. Health is, and I'm going to talk about the internal health as in our organs. That's very important. When we get older, we need all these things inside of us working pretty well. It's not just about that as well. There's also the mental aspect to it. And that's a massive part. That is probably one of the biggest parts. Mental health in terms of moving your body more, that works well for your head. And actually looking inside yourself and looking after this and being aware of your thoughts and how you feel about yourself, how you talk about yourself, how you talk to yourself. So it's more of the external, internal and mental health that comes with, you know, looking after your body and your health.
Yeah, absolutely. And what has your journey with health been so far? Because I know that many coaches coach from a place of, I have been there, or I have had someone really close to me that's been there and I've seen it. So what's your journey with health been?
Well, when I first started, I never actually wanted to go to a gym, by the way. People always think that like it's something I wanted to do. I didn't. I got dragged to a gym when I was 18. I was like, I don't want to be in here. This is awful. And I fell in love with it. I don't know how, but I did. Fast forward and here we are. But it started as a rocky one for me, to be honest. So many you see so many things in the news or in papers and magazines on how you should be eating or what you should be doing. And it actually led me to have quite a bad relationship with food in the start. I went through a series of yo-yo dieting. So I was the tip, especially around 18. So, you know, you just start going out. You want to look good when you're going out in your dress. And I was on slim fast shakes. I wouldn't eat much. I was actually really skinny, but not healthy at all. And that was like my younger days. That's like 18. And then I got into my 20s and I found a bit of a love for bodybuilding. And that led me to my next episode of not very healthy eating habits, where I did a bodybuilding competition, got really lean, massively restricted myself and didn't enjoy any nice food for about 20 odd weeks. And then after coming out of that, led me to my binge and restrict cycle, where I used to binge eat, uncontrollable binge eating as well, where I couldn't physically stop until I felt like I was going to be sick. And then I'd be restricting myself and doing excessive exercise, punishing myself for all the stuff I'd eaten, feeling guilty. And then I'd be starving and I'd binge again. And this was my cycle for quite a while. It took me a couple of years to get out of that. Until finally sort of working on my mindset around food and what was really triggering it and what was really causing it. And thankfully, you know, I'm 29 now. That was about 7 years ago. Thankfully, I'm out of that cycle and I have full control over my life. But back then I didn't. And that's why I coach on this sort of stuff, because I've been there with the binge eating and I've been there with the yo-yo dieting. And I know how helpless you can feel at that time. And you feel like there's no way out. So now I've been through that and I know that there's a way out. It helps me to then help other women to get out of those cycles as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I did not know that story about you. And that is like mind-blowing, because it's so interesting as well. And I think that there are points of resonance and relatability for sure, whether it's gone as excessive as you're explaining. But I can remember the first time I was in the gym, I fucking did not want to be there. I was too scared to go to the gym. And I don't think I'm alone in that. Like, I think a lot of people are scared to go to the gym because it's something new and it's unknown. And I was like the eternal kid that never wanted to do gym class at school. I was like, oh, I was kicked in the shoulder by a horse, I can't possibly do gym. And it was like, and then they would see me like walking down the hall 2 minutes later with my bag on the shoulder that had been kicked, like so much rubbish. But like I never want to go to the gym. And then I so resonate with your binge cycle. Like you eat and eat and eat. I used to use ginger nuts because I was like, ginger will not make me vomit. So I'll like scoop the Ben and Jerry's with the ginger nut, binge eaters 101. And then you massively restrict. Then you do go to the gym, you punish yourself, you run too hard on the treadmill, you're passing out. Like it's awful. And I think there's so many women that go through that. And I think that it's not just what we think of ourselves. I think society places so many expectations, like you were saying, like what you're reading in the paper, what you're seeing on your phone, like all these things really filter into how do we feel about ourselves. So do you believe then that it is your mindset that got you out of that cycle, or was there a health scare or a trauma or something that changed the game for you?
I mean, of course, when I was looking in the mirror, you've got to imagine. So anybody who's seen people that compete, we are tiny. I was tiny, very tiny. And I'd gone from being very tiny to stones heavier. So you can imagine the physical implications of this from being the fit, because I was very fit, because I did a lot of exercise, a lot of cardio to get to that point. So I felt physically unfit. I was sweating all the time. I felt like I couldn't breathe because of the amount of weight I'd put on in a short space of time. And I wasn't overweight, as in I wasn't obese or any problems like that. However, from what I'd just 2 stone, bosh, straight on. So you can imagine the difference in the way I looked. People were noticing it. People were saying it to me. Family members were saying, you put a bit of weight on. They were concerned about the way I was looking. So there was not just physically, I felt it. Like I physically felt it in my lungs, my butt, everything, sweating. But my clothes, nothing fit. So those factors were a large part to me needing to change, because I weren't happy with what I was seeing. People were saying it to me. I felt like absolute dog shit. Of course, I would have felt like dog shit. But it wasn't just that, but it was a mental shift as well, because you've got to think that the reason I got to that point was the habits that I had. I had bad habits that I had created myself, and I needed to find a way to get out of these habits that were holding me back and making me do this. So it was a combination of many things, but I feel that combination of many things is what gave me the oomph and the power to like, right, I need to do this, because a lot of people don't change solely on the premise of, I don't look that good, I need to change. That don't motivate you, does it? Really? You need a couple of things that really motivate you, that you think, God, I need to fucking change something here because this ain't right. Then that's when the magic happens, and you have to actually look inside your head to see where you're being held back, because it was all up here that was holding me back.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you have like a point? I know people call it like a rock bottom point or a crisis point, where you were like, this is the day that it changes?
Yeah, quite. Because not long after I'd competed, so I was struggling with my food anyway, and me and my friend booked a holiday. And I went on this holiday, not in the best shape anyway, and mentally not in the best place nutritionally, Got there, all inclusive. 10 days all inclusive. That for me were like a free-for-all. It were like, right, the buffet's open for 10 days. I don't care. I've been starving for 20 odd weeks. I eat what I want. Oh my God. So as you can imagine, through the space of the 10 days, I expanded even more. And it was when I got home and I look at photos now and I think, oh my God, that was the change point for me. I saw pictures of me on holiday. Do you know when like you've been on a boat trip and they take photos of you at natural? And I was like, holy shit, that's me, that's me. None of my clothes I took on day one fit. So like all my nice little evening things, like your jumpsuits and your play suits, couldn't fit them on. So when I got home, that for me, I took some progress pictures to see where I was at. And I was mortified. And I thought, I cannot. I was a personal trainer at the time as well. So it wasn't like I was, not in the job I'm in. I was personal training. And I thought, Daisy, what? You need to lead by example. Like, you need to sort this out. And, if I can show people that I'm struggling so much and can overcome it, they can do it too. I am no superhuman. I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I personally believe you are superhuman, but that's it's personal bias, personal bias. But yeah, I think that's a really powerful story, Daisy. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I think there's so many women that can resonate with that. And also sometimes like it does just take for you to even hear someone else's story for you to go, do you know what? Actually, maybe this is the point where I could change too. And maybe it doesn't have to be as hard as I'm making it in my mind. So I would love to know, for people that are on that journey, what are the most common questions that you hear from your clients when they first start out?
I mean, I've just started a recent program, and these are the things that I've been having recently. And my advice is, don't overcomplicate things, because that normally tends to be the reason why so many people stumble initially, is because they're obsessing over the shit that don't matter, if I'm completely honest with you. I mean, calories do matter, right? But then it's like, how many of this and what time should I eat and how many? I'm like, whoa. Like, just scrap the timings of the food. Stop over obsessing about like when you should eat that meal and can I eat this close to bedtime, and let's just chill, right? Keep things simple, and simple wins. There's another thing to just to add to my story, is that I didn't change overnight in terms of my physical appearance. It was a long drawn out journey. So like people might be thinking, but Daisy did it. It wasn't like this. It was like a good year or so of working on my head and continuously do so. So, you know, it's small changes, simple changes that you can adhere to is the key, because people think Rome's built in a day and they want to make all the changes yesterday, and therefore they do not stick to them longer than the week. So I would say if you're starting on a journey, don't sweat the small stuff. Just, you know, move more, eat better, work on this. There's 3 simple things to do, and you'll get the best results doing that.
Yeah. I love that. And I think that people do think that it's this instant journey, and you look at someone that's gone through it and you think, oh, it happened so easy for them. And yeah, they can do it, but I can't because I have X, Y, Z. So I have some kind of illness, or I don't have the resources, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. But you can have the best resources in the world. You could have the best coach in the world. But if you're not going to set foot in the gym, if you're not going to eat the kale or whatever, then it's going to be a problem. It's not going to work. So it is just a case of, you're right, like come back to the basics. Everyone knows how to do this. Like everyone knows how to be healthier. It's just a case of you're not doing it. And instead of being like, oh, well, it's because of X, Y, Z, just be like, I'm not doing it. I'll start doing it. It's very simple. So I love that you made that so clear. And do you think that would also be the biggest misconception about weight loss in general, is that it can happen instantly?
Yeah, the thing is, and this is another thing that's come up. So this is the week 2 for my new little 6 weekers. Week 1, at the end of each week, we check in, right? And this is a big thing, weight, right? Us women, we love obsessing over these scales, and whatever those scales say is a clear indication of our success. Apparently it is not. And it's frustrating, because I feel like I say this every week to every client every week, but we need to walk away from focusing on these scales every week, because that is not important at all. When you're on this little journey, but this is one of my biggest bits of advice actually, as long as you're doing the daily non-negotiables and you're doing this, you're not sweating the big stuff, you know, don't sweat the small stuff, just do the little bits and bobs that you need to do. Ignore the scales, because if you're ticking the boxes every single day, every single week, then whatever those numbers are on that scale, forget about it. It don't matter, because that is a big derailer. I find with a lot of clients is that they've done everything. I had a couple of ladies last week who didn't really see what they wanted to on those scales, and it was really disheartening. They were like, I'm disheartened. I was like, right, tell me about your week. I've done all my steps, I've done this, I've done that, my measurements have come down, and I've done this, and I feel really good. Right, just ignore the scales then, because you've done what you need to do. So do not let the scales derail you. And I know this will resonate with a lot of people out there, because we see these fluctuations and think we're a failure, when really it means jack shit, right? It really does. So if you're seeing the scales fluctuate and they're going up slightly, you might not have had a poo, you might have had more carbs yesterday, you might be a bit stressed, a bit hormonal. Don't worry about it. The scales will come down eventually. You do what you need to do. That's my biggest tip for today, that.
I love that. And I think that the main thing is focus on how you feel, not on a number. The number does not dictate how you feel.
No,
Yeah, it's a bit like
not.
I always find this with my clients is that self-worth and business success tend to feel like they go hand in hand. If my business is doing well, then that means that I am a success. So if I see the scales go down, I'm a success. And it's actually detaching the two and saying, hey, if I feel really good today, I'm a success. And it's just changing, it's reframing how we view what success is. I actually did a whole podcast on that. I will link it in the show notes so that everyone can check that out, on just how to feel successful, because I think that it absolutely stands true for everything. And I think it really stands true for the scale. And I think you're absolutely right that so many people will resonate with that. So a few questions before you go. How would you feel about a quick fire round of questions?
Go for it.
Okay. If you were to write a book, what would it be about?
Oh, I was gonna just put out there like mindset and general well-being and health and happiness and fulfillment in life, because I feel like that'd be a good one. That's what vibe I'm on today.
Live your best life. I love that.
Living your best life without limits, be yourself, that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love it. That would be a powerful book. So on the book theme, what are you reading right now?
So I've just been reading Dean Graziosi's book. I think it's called like I can't remember what it's called, but Millionaire something, Success Secrets or something, all to do with like mindset and just, it's really, that's normally my vibe, unless I'm on a story vibe, which I'm not at the minute. I will be when I'm on holiday. But yeah, that's Dean Graziosi's book at the minute, which I'm getting on really well with. Recommended.
Oh, I love Dean Graziosi. And if you're looking for a reading series and if you like something a little bit saucy, I highly recommend some Casey Lynn. That is a recommendation for everyone. I love her. Hopefully her next book is coming out soon, but I highly recommend. She's a wonderful holiday read. Wonderful. Back to the quickfire round. Right now, what does your morning routine look like?
So, my staple routine this. So up at 6, black coffee's first thing. I have a podcast in at this point, AirPods in, podcast on, actually an amazing podcast. It's called Your World Within, and I listen to him every day. It's just more motivational type stuff. So do that as I get myself ready, sort myself out. I've been doing my Tony Robbins guided meditation, priming again. Yeah, back on the Tony Robbins priming. Yeah. And then I go about my day. So I've got my little planner, I see what's on and we crack on. But that is that's the first hour of the day there.
Awesome. And what affirmation are you living by right now? What's living rent free in your head?
Oh, let's see what first pops in. Do you know what's popping in today? I am a fierce, successful woman. That's what's coming in today.
Oh my, I'm feeling that heat from the other side of the screen. I love that.
Yeah. One of my clients messaged me saying that she felt fierce this morning, and that word stuck in my head today. So I'm feeling fierce.
Feeling fierce. I love that. And do you know what's so funny is you've got like this red strap top on, and I have a red strap top that literally says fierce across it.
Yeah. Well, mine don't. Mine's just a good old Primani special. But
I believe mine was also a Primary special from the pajama section.
Oh, yes.
We're both on that. Amazing. So what's next for you and your business? So tell us, you just launched an app.
Yeah, so I'm in the process of doing the app. So the 6-week challenge I'm running, these are the founding members for the app. So there's 10 ladies who are like on the app at the minute, going through it all. So that is my main focus at the moment. But there's very exciting things coming on the app afterwards. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm just hoping it's going to be a place where people can get as much value as possible. And it doesn't have to be where people have to invest a lot. They can get a lot for a little, or do you know what I mean? It's like, so everybody's got access to the information that they need, but depends on how closely they need to work with a coach. So it's trying to be accessible to everybody on every budget. And because I feel like everyone should have access to help with their physical health, their mental well-being, so all these sort of things. So that's what I'm trying to bring to the app and give everybody a chance to be part of something special, really.
It does sound really special. I'm so proud of you. Well done. That's amazing. And you've just had a huge business month in launching this kind of founding members of the app. So really proud of you for that as well. Like, that goes without saying. We love to celebrate a money win in here. And before you go, where can people find you?
Well, people can find me over on Instagram. So my little username is Daisy J Cumberland, at Daisy J Cumberland. I do also have Facebook as well. Not as big of a Facebook user though. So mainly I am over on Instagram is where you can find me.
And your content on Instagram is wonderful. It's bomb. It's always really funny. It literally brightens my day. So thank you for sharing what you share. And I believe that everyone could have picked up something from this. Oh my gosh. So thank you so much for being here. If you have caught this video, then drop a comment below. We would love to know what you thought, what your biggest aha was, because know that you're not alone. We've just shared some really intimate stories from our lives. Like, we know that we're not in the minority. That's 100% of this call has experienced these challenges. So there's surely more out there. And I know you've had a bunch of ahas. So whatever felt resonant for you, drop it below. And thank you so much to Daisy for sharing your brain with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.